Testing, testing, one, two, three, testing. Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live segment here. Insightful discussion topic with us here at You Will Make It TV. We appreciate your support. Please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe buttons. Hit either of the three, or just support us by hitting that subscribe bell, becoming a subscriber, and this is how you will automatically receive notifications every time You Will Make It TV shares a new post, a new content creation, etc. Okay. Today I woke up with a story on my mind because they have been talking about it in the news, but I never really came out and did a commentary reaction to this news story, which really is crazy. Regardless of, I mean, anywhere you just find bodies in a river, back to back to back to back. You know, the rumor was for a second that there might have been a quote unquote serial killer on the loose right there in Houston, Texas. But I think the last that I've seen the update, authorities are confirming that, or right now, they don't think it has nothing to do with a serial killer. So people are just asking, so what? People are just falling in the river, going on walks by the lake in the river now and losing their footing and falling in the water, and then you find them all in the same week. I mean, what is really going on? You know? I think I also read that they put more of a, I'm not going to say security, but they call themselves just watching that area more. Like they might have more presence right there around that value or that body of water where they feel like people keep coming up discovered. And I don't know why that's on my mind this morning, but it's something strange about that. Y'all are probably like, duh, Arthur Tedder Sherry, but no. Maybe it's the very souls not crying out to me, but crying out from the other side about whatever is going on out there. Because it's like, it was bothering my spirit a little bit too. Right? And what could these victims have done so wrong? Because when I was looking at the photos of the different people that they found out there, all of them look 100% different, which I know we're all different, but what I mean is they look like they all come from different walks of life. Like, not one victim looked like they had anything in common with the next victim that they found in the water. Like, and for those that don't know, yes, when I was in seventh grade, I was in this forensic science club. It was very, very fun too. We didn't get far. We didn't get far with knowledge about how forensics work, but we did get a lot of hands-on experience. Like, they would set up like little scenes, let's say like crime scenes, pretend ones, of course, where we were in seventh grade. Yeah, like they would just set up the classroom as a crime scene. I used to love the days that we got to do this. And you know, we would be tested. Like, you walk in the room with your little kit, you find clues, uh, you look for little tiny pieces of clues and evidence, and you store it. And just, I never thought years later that I would think about that or how significant of a role it played in my life, just when it comes to having to pay attention. But I also give reverence to the crime TV shows that I watch too. If when I tell people those changed me, a lot of people think it's all about religion and beliefs, and Cause God is real too, and I believe God had a lot to do with some of the changes that's going on in my life. But watching those Crime Story Network TV shows definitely did it for me too. And we're not talking just watching them here and there. I have been binge watched some of these shows. I've binge watched them like back to back to back. Not Lifetime movies, not anything else, just straight Crime Network TV episodes, literally. I don't have to tell people that, but I like to tell people that because every story on there was a true story. Y'all think them Crime Network TV stories are made up? It's going to tell you what state it happened in, what year, give you a little background information about the story. But pretty much all the Crime Network TV stories are real. So I don't say I watch it for entertainment. What you mean? These are people's real lives on the Crime Network TV. But if I'm going to watch anything and be entertained, I'd rather see, okay, well, what were the inconsistencies in some of these stories? Like I tell a lot of people, in my opinion, if you watch those stories, it was so many clues and red flags in all of their stories that could have possibly turned the dynamics. It could have changed the whole plot around, right? If somebody would have just noticed something a little sooner, or just would have caught on to something, or noticed something, And me, I just didn't want to be one of those people in life. I mean, anything can happen to anybody, though. It just had me thinking about it when you seen this on the news. 6 bodies back to back, just floating in a river. And they don't want people to believe that it's associated with a possible serial killer. My encouragement from you with Make It TV, I think people should stay away. They should probably close down the whole area for a while. Now, I'm not out there in Houston where I can confirm whether they're still letting people go out there to the lake or wherever they're finding people. But I feel like, yeah, that just needs to be whole shut down at this point. They should create like checkpoints when you for anybody that comes in and out that area until they find out what's going on. One of the ladies they showed on the news, she looked like a very sweet young lady, regardless of what culture background she was, but she was black. But the victims of these, like I said, they just seem to all be different. Like, what could this sweet young lady have possibly done that a person wants to take your life and throw you in the water to try to make sure don't nobody find you out there? It's just sick. It is sick. I'm not trying to talk about it in a positive way, but being a Texas native, I have to say this really quick. Haven't we noticed all the weird like stories when it comes to like serial killers? They definitely come out of Texas too. We know that they could be born anywhere or raised anywhere, right? Serial killers, but think about it. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all these different stories was out of Texas. People hear stories out of Texas that they call themselves shocked. I don't know why you would be shocked. Maybe it's because we're from out there. Texas has always had a spooky side. A lot of places you go, there are real haunted places. What a great time to mention it. We know that Halloween is like right around the corner, right? Texas is a spooky place. I don't care. I've been to certain parts. I've been raised in a certain part. So Texas is scary. Texas have scary things that go on out there. Have y'all seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre though? And there was another one I was thinking about just the other day. Like, I don't know where that story had happened. It was called that movie, The Blair Witch Project. Some people feel like it's make believe or it was just a movie. I don't. I think it was some reality truths to that Blair Witch Project movie. Movies like The Skeleton Key. What was another one? It's just a lot of creepy movies that make you think. Seriously. It was one creepy movie we watched as a family that I wish we would have never watched. Honestly, it just like I'll give people a recommendation. There are some movies that I'll tell you like, no, I don't think you should watch that. Trust me. If it scared the bejeebers out of me, you know. But yeah, man, it's something strange about that. I really do hope we hear some updates soon. Especially for the people in Houston, they're definitely said they gave their comments on the news. They were saying, "Yeah, we're freaked out. Like, imagine living in the area where this is happening. You know, it freaks out the community when this type of news comes out. You think the people that do this stuff be in a state of mind to think, oh, how am I affecting my community? No, they think they're just doing stuff to people, to certain individuals and stuff like this. No, you're affecting a whole community. Every time, you make things weird in a community, you're affecting the whole community. I've been understood that. But I'm just saying, this seems to be another one of those stories that show us that if something happened at a public school, yeah, that still affects everybody. Even if your kids don't go to school, everybody that stay in that community. Every time something happens in a local community, it's not just happening like, oh, a neighbor has a domestic dispute or this or that. If you are in the community where that happened and the news had to report it, yeah, that's affecting the whole community, because most times the community saw the story. They're going to hear about it on the news, and then they might feel more on guard and different stuff, right? Depending on what it is. I don't know. It's just like, y'all, my advice, my commentary and reaction is, let's remember to keep Houston in our prayers. Or what is it about Houston that what's going on out there? I think people think Mr. Donald Trump was sending like military to certain places to help just keep down the crime, which I do believe that's a part of the purposes for the National Guard having to go out some places. But you know what's crazy? I would say Houston of a lot of places is already familiar with people like FEMA having to come out there before. National Guard, Houston is not, I wouldn't say that would be brand new to them. Like, they have these different hurricanes, storms, floods, and reasons that the National Guard and military have had to come out there before, you know. But I would say, how bad does the situation have to be now in a quote-unquote community for National Guard to be, what's that called? Like, for them to be sent out there. That's crazy. Deployed, it was a word I was looking for. Like, what actually has to be going on? Like, how bad or dire does it have to be? Because finding people in a river like that back to back in 1 week is crazy. Maybe they tell themselves, see, this is why we don't report. No, they reported it on the news, but maybe it was more bodies than what they even tell us. But I know deep inside they tell themselves, this is why we don't tell the public nothing. They get to thinking things and saying, I mean, yeah, people have a right to come to whatever conclusion when the world around them is not always perfect. Now, that's not your action. Your conclusion is just your mental notes on what's going on around you. So the people that just want us to not have that type of mentality, that's too bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having your own conclusion about the world around you. All you can do is your best to, because imagine the people that got kids out there. For real, this is a scary time in the world. Not just in Houston, Texas, but in a lot of places. Like, I would be so on guard. I'm pretty much kind of described as overprotective anyway. But if we was out there living a part of their community, I probably would I don't know, the kids would probably go out less, especially in the evening and night times for sure. I never was a mom that liked that or okay with that anyway, because it's like what you need out there. And I can see if you with some friends, I guess, or family or something. I mean, some people do enjoy the nighttime. I was saying that about myself again recently. It's not about being a night cat or a night owl. You just literally seem to vibe with the nighttime, whether you're working during those hours or you're up out enjoying yourself. You just the other day, I was like, do I want to speak on it? I was at the park all alone with my baby. We waited till it was nighttime, and it was less and less people there. It was just us. I'm telling y'all, and the vibes were so peaceful. Literally, I'm like, wow, why don't I come out here and do this more? The daytime is beautiful too. I'm saying that's just a common time when people do things. It doesn't mean that people don't still do things in broad daylight too, though. But just another word of encouragement for all young ladies and young men, because they found young men in that river too. I think it wasn't just all ladies. That's what's crazy about that story. Maybe they won't even tell us anymore if they find any more out there, because yeah, that does kind of put, and it doesn't matter, communities need to stop doing that, like, oh, we're going to go in a frenzy because we found out. No, the more that you are aware, okay, see, these days it's, I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. Have y'all seen the movie The Purge? It just makes you go back to conscious thinking, right, again, like, hey, at the end of the day, in that movie, every man, whatever was going on in the country, every man was for himself. It was a whole. That movie is about how their depiction of what the land would be if for 24 hours nobody could reach emergency services. That has happened in some communities already. I wouldn't say for a whole 24 hours, but those systems could glitch. I would say you have to test them like as frequent as you can, because emergency and weather systems and different things that alert people, Amber Alerts, all of those are systems. We have to remember that. Like we have to be grateful, I guess, too. Like yeah, warning comes before destruction. Like they have different ways to notify people out here when it comes to news about emergency situations. Not just the news. Like you might get a whole alert on your phone. I don't know if y'all remember that during the pandemic, everybody got an alert. It was like some kind of test run alert on their phone. Seriously, it came from Trump, I believe. We don't know if it really came from him, but of course it had the Trump messages, and they even told everybody, beware at this time tomorrow. It'll probably just last a couple seconds. We're doing a testing on the system. And it went to everybody's phone like that. So it is interesting. I just say we might be moving towards a day where we actually I have noticed that I still get the same amount of alerts of emergencies. Sometimes it's about weather in certain areas, or Amber Alerts, which those are always sad to me. You know what I mean? If it comes through my phone. But me talking about it is crazy, because like if you have children in this world, when you get a Amber Alert, it's always like just it's sad. I always read them too, but then if you're not really outside all the time like that, because it have been times, you see a kid strolling around or something by themselves in Walmart, a little bitty tiny kid. We don't understand, but I'm saying I understand as those type of situations as a reason to be concerned. Like you like 5 years old walking around a big store like Walmart by yourself. Or a predator could think that, of course, the baby probably is in there with somebody, but another word of encouragement and awareness for us all. When you go out in public, you can't just trust the public like that. You gotta watch your children. I am aware of that. People be thinking because they don't see the parent in blind sight or something, it's a game. Like, if you live in the same vicinity as your children, you thrive in the same community with your children, y'all are together. Like, that's where most tragedies happen too. Like in communities, it's just sad. That's why the communities be sad when it's young people. Now, a lot of people have different conflicting opinions about prison systems and people serving time. Like, I had learned my opinion in life. People think that, like, what just happened to P. Diddy or people that go serve time, like, that's the only, it's just kind of funny to think about. They think that's like the only form of punishment, I guess, that people people can be sentenced all kind of different things. Like, what do you mean? Not just jail time? Whatever an order is, that I just know those orders are usually carried out. That's what it's going to be. Whatever order is stamped. That's crazy. Like, jail is not, but of course, whoever doing this with those bodies in the water, that's their next step, because it's already on the news and everything. They wonder, like, what is going on? This many bodies in a body of water in a week. But then they said over the year, I think they said over the year, they actually found more of them out there. Now, I don't know if they're already sharing more details at this time with the public, but I do know they did like a press conference thing on TV for out there where they was talking about, their opinions. They don't, at that time, they weren't announcing that they feel like it's related to a serial killer and all of this. I'm like, man, this is crazy. That's why serial means you're just doing it back to back, and maybe the victims are all random, ain't no telling what is on a person like that, man. Why do they think throwing people in the water anyway I don't understand that. Things float and they resurface. When it comes to how you think they found some of the things from the Titanic, they think they just be throwing stuff in the water. It's just weird, in my opinion. It's just my reaction and commentary to this very real topic in the world today. Now, you can't control all the time what you're going to see in the media and news. But once again, the people in that community, they're more grateful to see it, of course. So you can know to be careful at that time in your community or something like that going on. We must remember a lot of stuff out there. I think somebody tried to mock me for saying it on my last stream. It was either the last stream or the stream before. Yeah, that is true in my opinion. I have a strong opinion about that. You don't always know something. I don't care who don't like that. That seems like the truth to me. You don't know something all the time unless it's revealed. That's the point of the word revelation. Unless it's shown to you, told you. That's just what it is with some things in life. So I don't know. People must understand that. That's why you gotta always remember the purpose. I know people call it propaganda, and you can't believe everything on the news exactly how it's put out there, but we still must be aware. Everybody don't know everything that's going on in their community every day. That's it. That's impossible for one person to do that. And they say, I mean, unless you have a position where your job is to actually do that, like the mayor or something, but just common people every day in their communities, everybody know what's going on. No, that ain't the case all the time. Ain't they busy working and taking care of their lives and kids and pets and stuff? They got stuff to do in the community. Everybody don't know what's... So, to me, that's still a valid point. You don't always know what's going on unless you watch the news, hear it on a radio station, because news is put out there all kind of ways. not just the news on TV. But I did used to be the kind of person to wake up and turn my TV as a young lady early in the morning. It was just something about the news help used to get me started and carrying on and ready for work and getting the kids to school. It was between the news and cartoons when you had little kids back then, but because a lot of people play cartoons in the morning too. If they have kids, even for the kids while they eating their breakfasts and getting ready for school and stuff. But the news was interesting back then in the mornings to me because you're gonna get to see the weather real quick, what's going on with the traffic. I was always grateful when it showed where's the traffic jam in the morning. So I'm like, I ain't going that way. I think they show it all throughout the day, but we all know the news gonna mostly show the traffic early in the morning and right around 5 o'clock for some reason. The rest of the day, you on your own, whatever going on. We appreciate you news stations out there. I don't know why they only show it twice a day. But, we got Google Maps and stuff today that'll kind of show you too. It'll show you beforehand. Beforehand, it literally will. Once you put that route in there, if there is a hiccup ahead, even maps will help people with that. They're going to let you know, like, hey, there's a 15-minute delay going this way east. It'll tell you that right there on Google Maps. If you put the route in there for it, some kind of way, already on Maps, it already be having alerts too. So Maps is another one. I was just saying, we got emergency systems and stuff that exist out here now that just automatically notify you when and that makes you appreciate modern technology. I know I talk about the cons of it a lot. Like, oh my God, all this reckless behavior due to the internet out now. But there are positive things about it too. Because I think before all these alerts, emergency alerts, they only had that button that people could wear or that button in a car that could probably alert security systems. Same thing with the home security systems. It wasn't as advanced as some of these emergency alert systems are today. So yeah, that's a reason to, in my opinion, appreciate technology, because maybe people do know that. That makes me think about that. Anyways, people need that. Everybody needs some kind of emergency button system these days. Why don't we have that? Like, everybody just walk around with a panic button somewhere on them. Why not? Or will we ever move to those days? We just talked about on one of our other live streams. Feel free to tune in to previously recorded segments just like these that you might have missed. But we were talking about the rollout or the introduction of new digital IDs in the UK right now. So, I mean, if that's far-fetched to people, digital IDs, because that we were talking about how that's probably on the way everywhere. And there were pros and cons about it that people said they like and dislike about it so far. Regardless of what we like, though, I was explaining how over there it had got to the point. I read in the article, it said they might not be able to apply for work without a digital ID. So it was just crazy news, but we already talked about that on a topic. So if we can go as far as digital IDs, why everybody can't walk around with one of those OnStar buttons? They think they get a lot of 911 calls right now. I bet if everybody had one of them buttons, we would have been seeing a lot in the world. Just like a ding every time. Once again, like I said, though, we are thankful for the ones that do exist out here, like the Amber Alerts and weather notification systems. Like if it's going to be a wind advisory or a fire, because those fires spread in some places. It's actually very common, and they kind of let the public know if they live within vicinity of those burning fires. Why? Because it's just like any other weather emergency. when those trees and stuff are out there burning, you getting smoke all in the air. You might let the local communities know, not just on the news, but there are those weather alert systems. If people know what I'm talking about, it'll hold text you if you pay attention to your phones today. Even I don't care how busy you was, the modern technology today, if it was a storm near you coming, you done got a text message about it. It's not a text, it's more of a like an automatic notification to your phone. You gonna look at your phone like, when did I sign up for for weather alerts? You didn't. It's a natural part of people phone devices today. Shout out to our viewers and supporters thus far at the You Will Make It TV channel. Please remember to subscribe if you are coming in kind of new to some of our discussion topics. We do these weekly. You're also welcome and invited to tune into any of our inspirational quotes, divine messages, or insightful topics, these live topics right here. So, and we have more to come. Those that been here, they know I've been saying it. They probably like, what? There's even more than this? Yeah, yeah. I know I can't speak on it all at one time, but there's always more. Have y'all seen The Mask with Jim Carrey? He said there's always time for one last kiss. I don't know. I was just raised on movies like that, so I am a goofball sometimes. Like, and Jim Carrey was very, very funny. He was just a very funny actor back then. I was like literally raised in the Jim Carrey era. And if people see that goofy side come out sometimes, like he was just definitely one of my probably top 10 favorite comedians. And still to this day, I don't know, his personal life is beyond me. This man's talent though on the screen, that man is funny. No, Jim Carrey didn't say it. The other guy that had put the mask on, he was telling the girl, "Oh, it's always time for one last kiss." He didn't know what his fate was finna be. She was setting him up, trying to get him to kiss her or something. But it's just a funny movie. Because I think Jim Carrey ends up winning the girl over at the end. It's called The Mask. It's a great movie. Now, they've done part 2, part 3. I don't like those personally. Like, I don't like the new versions of The Mask. Nobody can do that role in part like Jim Carrey. Some movies you gotta just leave alone, in my opinion. Like, they be trying to do a part 2 and a part 3 with a whole different actor than the person it started with. I always personally like, because as you guys know, I work in the field of content creation and digital designs and stuff like that. And here lately, thought more deeper into maybe film writing and film production. Like, is it for me? That is not the only part of films, acting. Acting and being on camera and being an extra. Like, no, that's not what everybody want to do. Though they might have a strong camera presence, they might be photogenic and everything. Like, look different on video than they do in person. Not always in a negative way. Y'all know how they be like, catfish is real. Like, you can see a person on the internet or on TV, but you see them in person and be like, what? This the same person? But in a positive way sometimes too, because some people feel like your videos and pictures, it's actually possible for them not to serve you justice. Like, they feel like you actually, no matter how many photos you take, how much makeup you had on, the cleanest suit, the cleanest, some people just still look better in person. They don't, they could have did the filter, the lighting, everything. And they like, okay, that's a beautiful photo or a beautiful snapshot, a beautiful video. But why, when people see you in person, you look different to them? Like, you just, some people even more appealing. So to me, the camera screen is not for everybody. Just because you're a stunning looking person, there's other parts of production that they always needed help, like film script writing, stage production, the people that set up the props and everything. It does kind of matter when you're talking about the news, because they've said that for years, that some people feel like it's propaganda, stage propaganda sometimes. So anyways, you really do set up more on production sets than just the actors and their scripts. It's just funny to think about that people think that, like, bro, it's way more careers, literally, in the film production industry than just you being on camera. You have, people give this example or excuse. They be like, yeah, I might have to sell my soul for everything I got and sacrifice stuff. Like, no, bro, it's so many different jobs in these production fields. Like, why did you feel like that's what you had to do? You just wanted to be on camera on some mainstream stuff. That's probably what it is with a lot of people. They just knew what they wanted in that way. Like, no, I want to go straight to the top. Ain't no telling what all some of these people had to do to get up there. I don't even want to think about it, honestly. You know, you hope that they worked hard but you just know the realities. You don't know what people did to get where they are. I was just watching something, it was a compilation of songs. The name of the video was called Songs That Would Have Been a Hit If This Person That Wrote Them Would Have Produced, like the person produced them, but if the person would have been the actual artist on every track, on every song this person wrote. And it's a very famous songwriter that's behind a lot of great hits that people they're not even aware of. And I say, oh, that's that silent game right there. I've been studying ghostwriter. I ain't gonna say studying them, but just studying the industry a little bit. People think that's what's funny. Like, what did you think you was competing with? Everybody trying to show their face in the big time. You ain't even got to show your voice if you a songwriter. A writer is a writer. They get paid too, though. Period. You're not gonna always be mainstream and you just a choreographer. You're somebody that works behind the backstage of the scenes. The scenes do matter. That's what make the money. But everybody plays their part and putting these productions together. People thought you was chasing the mainstream. I don't know if they thought that about me, but I wasn't. So I didn't think I was. It's just interesting, right? I'm just using my story for an example, like, cause me personally, I'm not ashamed of it. My career interests change a lot. When you have a lot of skills and gifts, you can kind of like juggle at any given time. Life can be like that, but to another person, you just look unstable. Maybe you just want to enjoy your life and get the full experiences that you can with each experience that you go through too. Now, of course, you don't want to stay stuck in the same experience too long, unless it is one that's enjoyable to you. So, what's wrong with people changing their career experience preferences and stuff? Yeah, y'all. So, I think people just thought when it comes to entertainment, the entertainment industry, that's the only way that you can blow up is being literally in the spotlight on stage with a microphone in your hand and you getting all the attention. You taking all the you at all the famous fashion shows and everything. That is not. It's still people that talk about the whatever they call it, small class of 1% of people in the wealth class. Like, that's probably the population that helps make them. Uh, the people who work behind the scenes, they are usually just as significant as the stars. Who do I mean, for example? The choreographers, the writers, the fashion designers, everybody, the costume wardrobe specialists. Everybody helps play their part on a production level when you're producing content. To me, you're never spreading yourself thin at any time taking the time out to learn a new skill or trade or education or training in something, that's never a waste of time. But people act like internships, trainings, uh, coachings, they act like those sessions are, first of all, always paid. They're not. You're more paying, if anything, with your time, but at least in exchange, you're learning a new skill to move forward with. It could seem like, oh, I'm not getting paid, so this is a waste of my time. Some people do look at their life like that, but I find that unwise because, yeah, you could be exchanging your time and you're not getting paid, but you're going to walk away from that experience with a whole new experience that you can end up using to elevate yourself somewhere. But everybody don't look at their life like that. They like, oh no, time is money. Time is also money if you're exchanging that time to, once again, like I said, assess, access a new skill or trade or training or education on some level. Then your time is not wasted. How could you say your time is wasted and you learn something whole new, whether money was involved or not? But yes, ladies and gentlemen, usually getting a new skill, elevating your education, knowledge in some way, shape, or form, because this is You Will Make It TV and we talk about this kind of stuff. And what's even crazy, some of the people that tragedies happened to, they were living what you would call successful, happy lives. There can, misfortune can happen to anybody, you know. Just like I said, with those victims, it looked like they was all like different kind of people. Because people talk so much in life about just getting it right and making money. And okay, some of the people things still happen to were doing just that. What do you mean? Minding their business, working, getting money, living their life, driving on the road like everybody else. Maybe struck by a drinking driver or just accidents be happening outside. That's a realistic part of life, but that's what we're talking about here. It's one thing you find one body, or maybe even two, but people know, okay, how is there still an accident when you finding more bodies out there? How many people now, regular living, working people, is this happening to? They help make up, the communities too. Of course, you don't have a community. You don't have no people out there working at all. All y'all just staying out there unless you working together to work the land, which there are known groups that have gone out into nature just to try to live like a different life. They call them cults though at that level because it's like y'all all leaving y'all regular life to go like try a new lifestyle, right? Like when I used to speak my reaction and opinions on live about who the passport bros was and what they do and stuff like that, it wasn't to like throw shots at it. Like, look at this is very real. You can travel, and like one lady just shared a story. She came back with black eyes and everything, just trying to travel and go have a good time in Africa somewhere. And she was one of the lucky ones, everybody's saying, because it's like if they go that far and somebody done got you and they beating up on you, she didn't even have to make it back home, but she did. And I consider that an inspirational story for real, but she was just showing people the realities. That was the point of her showing, you know what I'm saying, what happened to her and sharing her story. You know, and it's just scary. You could be in your local community just minding your business. Uh, People, that's why I say you want to enjoy life on all ends if you can, regardless of what your financial status is. If you just get too focused on my life, my bills, yeah, you focus on it. But if it's something whole going on in your communities, like you're still focusing on it. But of course, a piece or a part of your focus is going to be on what you're aware of is happening. And it's like, how can you be 100% like that? But we talk about how it is possible to, like, ignore what you don't necessarily. Once again, if you're putting your time into things that's teaching you things that's going to be beneficial for you in the long run, no, that ain't no waste of time just because you're not getting paid immediately. Anybody can comprehend that, but to actually like walk that and live that experience is something. Like, you could have a whole streak or a whole season of your life where you just dedicated it to education, training, new skills, new trades, new experiences. Because you might have, let's say you go through a trial streak where you just apply for internships only, because everybody's long-term goals are different. And you can't build the same way somebody else do if they already made up in their mind they willing to go through streaks like that. Like, oh, I don't see how she doing it. I gotta be making money. Anything I do with my time. But you missed the part that a person could be investing their time in things that make their money long in the long run. Especially if they put all the puzzle pieces together right. Like, oh, I learned this here. I got this experience there. Yep, I had some clerical experience right there. Then you put it all together later. Anyway, some people like that. That's how they build. Everybody build different. Like, some people just feel like, oh, I gotta get to the money real quick right now. They don't. They can't stretch it out in a way. Like I said, they might look on another's life and like, well, I don't see how that person is making it and going through streaks and seasons where they just obtain knowledge, but they not getting paid for the knowledge. If anything, they paying for the knowledge. Because you might say, how is that possible? Well, for example, college has never been free. But there's different type of training, education, classes, webinars, and stuff you can take that also cost money. And then there's free ones too. I know the platforms out there. I'm only aware because when you're in school, you end up learning about new resources and stuff like that that can help you as a student. And if you're the type of person that always like, oh, I'm 24/7 a student. Like, I'm already like a sponge. Like, I just take in everything around me anyway, just like a sponge. You know. You put a person through that so long and then wonder why they trying to learn something through every experience. So they just want to make us feel like, oh, only the job experiences matter. Like, no, all them experiences put together, then who is a person? Who do you expect a person to be? Stuff like that. Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment with You Will Make It TV, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. Remember to hit that subscribe bell. This was just my reaction and commentary to another real circumstance out here in the world right now. It's Houston, Texas now. It could be another place anytime. Just more preaching situational awareness more than ever to people. Because some people don't know things until it's right in their face. Like, what do you think the news is? It's putting information right in people's face, like right there on the table. Now, you might have to just be aware or do your own knowledge fact check after you see certain stories, but for the most part, that's what the news is about. Thank you guys.